one relationship red flag you should never ignore. In this video, you will discover a rather unexpected way how you continue to attract disrespect and lack of pursuing from your man, and how, of course, you can turn that around. Hey, I'm Antia Brody with Magnetize Your Man, and together with my husband, Brody, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a committed, connected, and long-term relationship they desire fast. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the one relationship red flag that you should never ignore is energetic leakage. Now, let me explain what that actually means. Here goes the story. Look, I just had a call with a woman the other day, and by the way, I hear this story every so often, so it's worth to be actually addressed. Here's the storyline in a nutshell. Man meets woman, they get married, they have 1 to 2 kids. 15 to 20 years later, she comes to me telling me he cheated on her out of the sudden. First of all, there's no such thing as out of the sudden. There's out of your awareness level, which means your brain deleted, distorted, and generalized so many red flags, pink flags along the way that I would have identified for you. But because you decided that he is the man for you, or you're now committed, or, it's all about him, you're so focused on him as opposed to focusing on yourself and your own intuition, you miss or outright delete all these red flags. So today we're going to talk about what I told this woman. And actually I would tell any woman that would come to me and tell me the story, which is we actually start to uncover, what's actually been the trajectory. And what we oftentimes uncover that from the get-go, this outright disrespect from the man. For example, how the energetic leakage shows up is that he flirts with other women. And by the way, he did that from day one. Now, of course, when he got confronted by her, he just said, I didn't act on it. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you, flirting is an action. Don't let him tell you that it's not an action and there's not an intention behind it, and that it doesn't have an impact when his focus shifts away from you. Because, of course, how I guessed it, this guy had at least narcissistic tendencies. Now, he never got clinically diagnosed, but at least, and I could have already guessed that he had narcissistic tendencies because he needs all this attention. So if you meet a man who needs all this attention, you are just not enough. And not because you're not enough, but for a narcissist or someone who has narcissistic tendencies, one person will never be enough. 2 people will never be enough. 3 people will never be enough. He always needs more, because he has this deep-rooted insecurity that he needs to constantly approval from the outside, and oftentimes also from the opposite sex. Okay, so, and of course, when I then ask her, okay, so hold on one second. He flirted with other women, then he told you, I'm not acting on it. And then you just let it slide. And she's like, well, because I second guess, doubt myself, question myself. Does that sound familiar to you? And why did you do that? Is because, of course, you come from a background where you yourself had an emotionally unavailable parent, or a narcissistic mom, or an alcoholic dad, or whatever the case may be, that then made you question and doubt yourself. Because you were told, you're not getting your needs met. You need to focus on your siblings, or you need to rescue your parent because they collapse into their own victimhood and can't hold themselves. And then guess what? Look up to you to be the savior and the rescuer. Let me tell you, this is such a dysfunctional pattern, and no child should ever go through this, and neither should you repeat this pattern in your relationship. So when you notice those kind of red flags of energetic leakage where the attention goes somewhere else, that means this man has no integrity. And you have to ask yourself, well, what are the consequences of you dating a man who has no integrity? Well, he has no problems lying because he's lying to himself. and he has no problems breaking promises, and he has no problems to break promises to himself, and so on. There's so many different breaking, even like being disconnected from his purpose. And by the way, guess what? Of course, this woman got like gaslit herself. You know what I mean? Of course, when you then confront this particular man with narcissistic tendencies, who of course had to flirt or get also approval from other women. I hear this all the time. But of course, she got then gaslit, that she did things wrong, or, she shouldn't be so needy and clingy. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, I've been married for 10 years. Like, we're having wedding anniversary next month. And my husband has never told me that. When your man truly loves you and doesn't just see you as sort of like, like like a trophy wife or whatever else he gets out of the relationship with you, or you're feeding his ego and you're feeding, whatever it is, his self-esteem inside of himself, right? Like, he will actually never do anything that would hurt you. He would never hurt your feelings, and he would never shame you, blame you, or anything like. So you may by now have your wheels turning and wonder, wait, hold on a second. Maybe I should review, what I'm experiencing in my relationship right now. Now, the question, of course, becomes, and I promised you that in the beginning, how can you turn the boat around? And that is actually setting boundaries from the get-go. So what I would recommend in this particular case is, if I were to notice that this particular man is like flirting with other women, is like immediately communicate to him the emotional impact it has on you. And also adding on to that, you're willing to leave, that you're setting boundaries for yourself, that you will actually date a man who actually has eyes for you and for you only. Okay? So that's what I recommend. And getting over the fear, the fear of rocking the boat, or fear of like exaggerating, and fear of walking on eggshells, but actually saying, no, 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 no. The queen sets boundaries right away in the beginning, because two things are going to happen. Either this man is going to step up to the plate and he's like, holy guacamole, I'm dealing with a queen and I better step up my game, okay? Or he'll step out. He'll continue to gaslight you, blame you. You, of course, won't be receptive to that because you've done your personal development work, okay? And you can learn more about that, how to do that in this video, right? But you have done your work. You trust yourself. You're in alignment. You're in queen integrity, we call it. So he can't gaslight you. Nobody could tell me that I'm clingy or needy, because I already told the guy 14 years ago when he told me that okay, like, what else is new? So he didn't get a reaction out of me. I didn't get defensive. Like, I didn't use a shame shield. I didn't go into attack. I didn't go into justification, which is another thing I see women do all the time. But instead I said, okay, yeah, I mean, everyone has needs. Here I am. That's me. And I didn't say take it or leave it, because that's also passive aggressive. But basically that's what I said, energetically speaking. And of course, lo and behold, if you haven't watched some of my videos where I shared that story, this particular gentleman totally turned around, apologized, actually said, oh no, I'm actually joking. So he actually went into a shame shield called denial. So he denied, oh, I wasn't that serious. Like, I was actually, and he backed off and he pursued me like crazy afterwards. Now, this was because I knew who I was, and I knew that I had anxious tendencies. I knew that I could be, quote unquote, clingy, although I never referred to myself like that. Certainly had needs and was definitely more on the affectionate side, but I owned it, and that's what men love. It's like when you own, when you feel into it, they can feel you. Men don't push you away when you have needs, right? But it's depending on how you express those needs and how you relate to them inside of yourself. So first of all, I'd love to hear in a comment section from you, what are some questions you have about this, or what did you resonate with today? Now that you watch this video, you should see It all starts in the beginning. Don't wait until it's 15, 20 years down the road and out of the sudden, something happens. Like nothing happens out of the sudden. Ask yourself right now, how can I increase my awareness level? Where am I distorting? Where am I generalizing? Where am I deleting reality and actually minimizing my awareness level to my own detriment? And how can I turn it around? Next, if you haven't yet, take our free love quiz at BeFeminine.com to get a connected, committed, and long-term relationship that you desire fast without attracting any more emotionally unavailable men, having trust issues, and continue to waste your time. So the link for that will be in the comment section as well. Ladies, I had so much fun filming this video, and I certainly will talk to you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.